for all the people of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, agriculture remains the backbone of our economy and the source of livelihoods for millions of Kenyans. Funding for the sector has therefore increased to Kenya shillings 63 billion from 44 billion last year. We have set aside Kenya shillings 20 billion for seed and fertilizer subsidies, up from no funding in 2022. Already, 6.5 million farmers are benefiting. This investment will maintain fertilizer prices at Kenya shillings 2,500 per bag, 50-kilogram bag, down from 7,000 in 2022. We are equally investing 5.4 billion in food resilience programs, Kenya shillings 2.7 billion to support farmers and workers in the sugar sector. And as citizens know, that is a sector that we have finally turned the corner with, a sector that was almost collapsing. Today, all the sugar mills are working. We have licensed another five sugar mills in the last 2 years, and we have made sure that progressively our estimates indicate that in the next 1 to 2 years, Kenya will be a net exporter of sugar. And that is why we have said imported sugar will now attract heavy duties. We have equally provided 2 billion Kenya shillings to waive coffee farmers' debts. We did provide 1 billion in the budget we just concluded, 2 billion in the budget we just concluded. We are providing another 2 billion in this budget, and we will complete the coffee waiver for farmers in the coming year. We have also provided 500 million shillings to enhance resources in our coffee cherry fund. Young farmers will benefit from a Kenya shillings 1.3 billion credit facility, while pastoral resilience and livestock commercialization programs have received 3.3 billion and 1.3 billion respectively. We have also allocated 5.5 billion to support 300,000 pastoralist farmers in 21 arid and semi-arid counties through cooperatives and market access initiatives. Additional investment will expand access to milk coolers and value addition equipment in the dairy sector. We're already negotiating and in final stages of an additional 650 milk coolers and value addition equipment for our dairy sector. To support rural industrialization and value addition, we have provided 3.85 billion to county aggregation and industrial parks to complete ongoing projects and to operationalize completed facilities with common user facilities. We have already 16 county aggregation and industrial parks that are complete, and we have provided in this year's budget money for their operationalization, money for equipment, money for common user facilities, so that locally produced products can now be processed, value added, before they go into the market. Our goal is simple: to help farmers produce more, earn more, and build greater prosperity in rural Kenya. We are equally committed to empowering women, young people, and grassroots communities, with nearly 110 billion committed to programs that will expand opportunity and strengthen livelihoods. This includes Kenya shillings 22.6 billion for youth programs and 12.4 billion for the National Youth Service to recruit an additional 10,000 young people, modernize facilities, and strengthen skills development. Additionally, we will be funding with other partners Kenya shilling 6.5 billion for classrooms, workshops, and hostels to accommodate an additional 50,000 recruits in our National Youth Service. Already, we have provided money for the purchase of 50 graders for the National Youth Service and 50 tippers for the National Youth Service, for them to work with the Nairobi regeneration and finally for other programs around the country. In addition, 8.8 billion shillings has been allocated for affordable credit to micro and small enterprises. And I just completed a program with Africa Guarantee Finance Fund for them to support this exercise as we work with Kenya Industrial Estates, Kenya Development Corporation, and our MSME sector. Kenya shillings 5.3 billion for the Nyota program and Kenya shillings 2 billion for paid internship is part of the resources that we have made available. We have also allocated 25 billion for cash transfer benefiting 1.2 million vulnerable households. Kenya shillings 8.9 billion for orphans and vulnerable children. Kenya shillings 4.3 billion for hunger safety net program. Kenya shillings 1.5 billion for persons living with severe disabilities. And Kenya shillings 900 million to support girls' education and dignity. To strengthen grassroots administration, public participation, and access to government services, Kenya shillings 3.9 billion has been allocated for village elders across the country. We realize this is a resource that is often available for grassroots sensitization, grassroots mobilization, creating harmony in our communities, but they have not been recognized in the past. We have now recognized the 100,000 plus village elders who will now be part and parcel of the ecosystem of government delivery. To enhance access to justice and strengthen the rule of law, funding for the judiciary has now increased from 16 billion shillings in 2022 to 30 billion shillings in this budget. Again, it is because of our commitment that funding the judiciary is not just about justice. It is also about development. And this is not a cost to the people of Kenya. It is investment in our development. Affordable housing remains a key pillar of our economic transformation. With 274,000 housing units under construction and more than 640,000 jobs supported directly and indirectly. To sustain this momentum, we have committed 138 billion to affordable housing and urban development. This will finance affordable housing units our hostels for close to 180,000 students in our universities, in our technical training colleges, in our Kenya medical training colleges, and also to support the construction of markets across Kenya so that our mama mbogas and all other traders operate in an environment that is conducive, that is hygienic, and that is protected. We are investing in housing, infrastructure, and energy, and the digital connectivity, because growth requires jobs, creates mobility, and also opportunity. Accordingly, 225 billion has been allocated to roads and Kenya shillings 52 billion to transport infrastructure. I did make a commitment that we are going to complete the ongoing 6,000 kilometers of roads in Kenya today. And we are working on other transport infrastructure to support logistics and mobility in our country. This includes 20.8 billion for the extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kisumu and onwards to Malaba, and Kenya shillings 4.2 billion for the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone, and also an additional 3.8 billion for flood mitigation and emergency preparedness, as we are getting from the weathermen that we might be expecting an El Nino. Reliable and affordable energy remains essential to economic growth and household welfare. We have therefore allocated 34.1 billion to the sector, including 26.1 billion for rural electrification and grid expansion, Kenya shillings 3.7 billion for power generation, and Kenya shillings 3.2 billion for alternative energy technologies. To cushion Kenyans from volatility in the global fuel market, including disruptions arising from conflict in the Middle East, including in the Iran, we have set aside 21.5 billion for fuel stabilization and provided seed capital for the establishment of the East African refinery as a mechanism for a long-term solution to challenges that face us in our fuel supply. To strengthen national security and improve operational readiness, 6.5 billion shillings has been allocated for modernization of equipment, transport, and motor vehicle fleet for our police and security agencies. In partnership with other agencies, we are also supporting the delivery of 10,000 housing units for officers in the National Police Service, Kenya Prison Service, and the National Youth Service. The digital economy, where many young people are finding jobs and opportunities, will receive 10.5 billion to do the following. Number one, connect 20,000 public institutions, including schools, hospitals, police stations, to fiber optic. And this will also include the ICT hubs being constructed by our members of parliament. Number two, to provide 50,000 devices for our Jitume centers and ICT hubs that have been constructed or being constructed by our members of parliament and by all other actors in this sector to promote digital commerce, digital learning, and digital jobs. Number three, to digitize 12 government departments and agencies to make government services much more accessible, much more affordable, and easy to be accessed by citizens. And number five, to expand digital skills development and training programs. On water, sanitation, and environmental protection, we will spend 112.4 billion Kenya shillings, including funding for the completion of major projects such as Umma Dam in Kitui, Sioi Murun Dam in West Pokot, Thwake Dam in Makueni, and Mwache Dam in Kwale. This will also include 25 other water projects that are now in the process of being advertised across the country, and we are going to give you a list of those projects. In the blue economy space, investments will include completion of a Center of Excellence in Kabonyo, Kisumu County, Namaret in Shimoni, Kwale County, the operationalization of Shimoni Fish Port in Kwale, the completion of 15 fish landing sites and markets at a cost of 1.5 billion shillings, the establishment of search and rescue center in Kisumu, the acquisition of rescue boats, both in Lake Victoria and in the Indian Ocean, and the provision of 272 fishing boats for our fishermen. This will also include a ferry service that will be made available in Likoni, one in Lake Turkana, and the other one in Lake Victoria. That money has already been provided for. To strengthen Kenya's position as a global sporting nation, 26.4 billion has been allocated to complete 39 sports stadia in Kenya, prepare for AFCON in 2027, reward our outstanding sportsmen and women who represent Kenya on the international stage, and support sports competition and tournaments nationwide. We have also allocated 14.2 billion for the completion of the Bomas Convention Center, and will work with counties to identify and develop signature tourism sites and products supported by marketing initiatives with the aim of moving our tourism arrivals to 5.2 million by 2028 and close to 1 trillion shillings in revenue, up from where we are today. This year, we reached a mark of 2.7 million tourists, and we raised close to 500 billion from the tourism sector. Taken together, these investments reflect a government focus not only on managing the present, but also on building a stronger future. A future with more jobs, more opportunities, better services, and shared prosperity for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, nation building is work in progress. But I can say with confidence, the foundations are stronger, the direction is right, and the results are becoming increasingly clear and visible. I have said before that Kenya will become a first world nation within a generation. Some hear ambition. I see possibility. Every serious plan must be financed. Every transformation must be funded. And every national aspiration must be backed by action. That is what this budget does. It invests in our children through education, in our families through healthcare, in our farmers through agriculture, in our youth through jobs, enterprise, and skills, and in our future through infrastructure, innovation, and the prudent utilization of public resources. The ultimate measure of this budget will be the opportunities it creates and the lives it transforms. History does not reward pessimism, cowardice, and indecision. History rewards the courageous, the resilient, the builders, and those who refuse to surrender their future to doubt, division, or fear. That is the task before us: to build a stronger economy, create more jobs, to expand opportunity, to protect the vulnerable, and to ensure that prosperity reaches every part of our republic. I did make a commitment to the people of Kenya that the old exclusive development paradigm is gone, that going into the future, every part of Kenya, irrespective of how they voted, irrespective of who they are, irrespective of the past, will benefit from the development of our nation. And that no part of Kenya, no region of Kenya, no section of Kenya, no community of the Republic of Kenya, no religious persuasion will be left behind, that we are going to move together. Together, we must reject propaganda. We must reject misinformation. We must reject disinformation. We must reject fake news. We must reject insults. We must reject hate. We must reject ethnic bigotry and profiling. And we must reject division. I therefore call upon all Kenyans to remain united, confident, and focused on our shared purpose. Let us continue to work together, to build together, and to move forward together. To every farmer feeding the nation, every entrepreneur building a business, every worker striving for a better life, every young person pursuing opportunity, and every family seeking dignity and security, this budget is yours. The government is working for you, and together we are building Kenya's future. The vision is clear. The agenda is set. The plan is funded and on course. The transformation is happening. And together we are building the prosperous, inclusive, and modern nation that we all deserve. Thank you very much for your attention. Asanteni sana. Okay. Thank you. Good people.